All right, hey everyone. It is April 26th. Um, Yesterday I didn't end up making a video just because, by the time it got late and I didn't feel like it, so I didn't. But yesterday was absolutely gorgeous. I spent most of my day outside, like on my deck, just watching TV or like on my phone, or reading, or making a finishing a friendship bracelet that I'm working on for my sister. Um, It was just an absolutely beautiful day. I wore shorts for the first time yesterday, for the first time this year. Not like the first time ever, but the first time of this spring summer cycle. Um, yeah, so because it was so beautiful, I didn't really do much but sit outside and soak up the sun. It was the first time. So I'm like, in case you can't tell, very, very, very pale. Um, I'm the kind of white person who burns thinking about the sun, let alone actually being in the sun. Actually, there are great pictures of me when I was a kid, or when I was in like eighth grade, right? I went to a school where I was very much in the minority. There weren't very many white children. There were some years I was the only white person. So yeah, it's the picture is me and all my friends in eighth grade, and you can see everybody clearly. And I am just this like white, like I look like a ghost. Like the light has completely washed me out because I'm just that fucking white. Um, so yeah, burn thinking about the sun. So yesterday, since I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna be outside in the sun for more than 5 minutes, so I got to slather on the sunscreen. So I did. So I got my sunscreen down from the shelf where it lives because I have a whole sunscreen shelf. Um, because I use a lot of sunscreen. And I was like, all right, it's time. All over the face, all over the chest, the arms, the legs, everywhere, everywhere. And for me, I also have very dry skin. So my skin like absorbs sunscreen really quickly. So I use a lot. Everyone's always like, you have too much on. It's like, it's still on your face. You have to rub it in more. I'm like, no, no, no. Give it a minute. And within a couple minutes, it's like gone because my skin's just like absorbed it. Um, Anyways, that was pretty nice. And then we were supposed to watch a video last night with my friends, but there was technical difficulties involving. I thought I was gonna be able to use. First off, I thought I was gonna be able to do it through the Netflix app. Turns out you have to have a Chrome extension, and I can't download stuff because my computer that I have here, that I'm doing this on, is my work computer, and there's like admin rights and whatever else. Um, yeah. So, but we ended up just talking for like a couple hours, which was nice too. It's nice just to talk to people and be like, yes, I know I have nothing new in my life, but let's talk anyway. Um, so I haven't, and oh my God, I have to tell you guys about this. Um, we are truly living in 20, well, some of us are truly living in 2019, 2020. It's 2020. Um, my dog's drinking in the background, so that's what that noise is. Um, they opened up a restaurant where I live called Nudies Cafe, and I love it. We have one where I work, and it's like a small family-owned chain. There's like 3 or 4 of them, so it's not that big. So, and we go there for lunch a lot at work, and we always have really good food and really good time, and it's not that expensive, and everything's always really good. So I was so excited when they opened one Conshohocken. Um, and that was only like, I would say not even a couple months ago that they opened that. Um, so I was scrolling through Facebook, I was on my phone, and I saw that More Than the Curve, which is a Facebook page and website kind of about Conshohocken stuff in Conshohocken area, has been really trying to promote ordering takeout and stuff like that from the various restaurants around here, so that they have some help, and their revenue doesn't hurt as much. They said, okay, yeah, Nudies today is open for takeout. You can either call or do delivery with DoorDash, which is a food ordering app thing where somebody basically you get takeout, but instead of you going to pick it up from the restaurant, somebody goes and picks it up for you and brings it to your house. So I was like, oh my God, yes, I love Nudies. How about I'll just get brunch from Nudies for breakfast? So I'm on my phone. I switch over to the DoorDash app. I find Nudies. I order my food. Literally, and said like, okay, yeah, your food will be there in like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I was like, okay, great. So I'll get up, I'll walk the dog, I'll make coffee. By the time I get done that, the food will be here. It'll all be timed out well. So then I lay in bed for like a couple more minutes. Um, and then I get up and I get a notification that's like, yeah, the dasher is like on the way to pick it up. And I was like, okay, that was fast. So I get out of bed and like go to the bathroom, and then I get the dog ready to go out, right? 'Cause she has like a harness and I have to like put it all on and stuff. It's not just like, cool, let's open the door. Like it's a bit of a setup. And literally by the time I got out of bed and to the front door to take the dog out, my food was already there. I was like, damn, this was like 15 minutes from like beginning to end, done. It was fantastic. So then I came back from the walk. The food was next to the front door. I picked it up as I came in. I turned the coffee on before we left. So I walked in, I had eggs Benedict and coffee, just like done and ready. And I was like, this is so beautiful. Plus, I love Nudies and I love supporting a local business. Especially right now with the pandemic, if you can support local businesses, like please do. I myself am not immune from ordering things from Amazon. Jeff Bezos slightly owns my ass. I've accepted that. I've come to terms with it. It's not great, but I try to fix it in other ways. But especially when it comes to food and stuff, try, if you can, if you have the ability, try not to order from like Burger King or McDonald's or Wendy's or anything like that. Try to support your local businesses because they need it right now. Plus the food was delicious. Oh, I also got like a yogurt parfait, and they had like granola all sprinkled over it, and the blueberries and strawberries were in like shapes on top of the yogurt. Like they were doing a grand job. So today is gray. There's no other description for it. It's rainy and cold and windy and gray. It's not fun. It's rather ugly out. It's just a day you kind of want to curl up by a fire and like read a book and drink hot tea. So, oh God, this morning I woke up, took Daisy out, ate breakfast, and then took a nap. And it was beautiful and fantastic, and I see why my dog does this every day. Oh, the rain just picked up a bit. Thankfully, I already walked the dog, so I don't have to take her out for several more hours. Haha. Okay. Just a little more about like what's going on with me right now. I decided like this is starting to become very normal. This is my normal day is now this, right? So I am starting to worry a little bit that going back to normal society will be as big a transition as it was going to this. So not super looking forward to that, but that's a thought I had. Also, I decided X amount of weeks into quarantine. Let's see, how many weeks am I about to be in quarantine? Going into my 7th week of quarantine. Or like when I say quarantine, I mean specifically like working from home kind of quarantine. I decided last night, like, you know what? I need a schedule. And something people have been saying the whole time, like you need a schedule, you need consistency. That's how your brain is going to cope with this. And lately I've been having just like trouble sleeping, trouble just like turning off, and trouble like separating work and home and getting to sleep. So yeah, I decided, I was like, you know what, I can't do this. I need a genuine schedule. And I've always been a person who's been really like schedule orientated, really like must color code everything, must, type 1 or type A anxiety kind of person. Yeah, I like schedules. Schedules are good in my mind. yeah, so I decided today my task will be to sit with Excel and figure out a genuine, Sunday to Saturday schedule. And obviously it's not like I can't deviate from the schedule if I'm, feeling one way or another and I say, I really want to cook that tomorrow instead of today or whatever. Obviously I can switch that around. But I am probably going to try to stick to the schedule for the most part, just because it'll probably require a bunch of willpower at the beginning, but I think it'll be better off for me long term from a mental standpoint to do that rather than like I've kind of just been sleeping until the last possible minute and then like getting up and coming in and getting on my computer to go to work, which is probably not the best thing. And it's probably why I'm having trouble falling asleep because I've slept more. Um, and if you're unfamiliar with um, anxiety and depression, uh, it makes you sleep. It makes you sleep, and then you can't sleep because you've slept, but then your body's so fatigued that it says it needs sleep, but really, you don't actually need sleep. You need rest, and there's a difference. Let me tell you, there's a difference. So hopefully, kind of with this schedule, I can help kind of get my body back on a schedule, and hopefully that'll help me. I'll just help my anxiety and stuff overall. The wool is on its way to start knitting, so very excited about that too. All right, in the world, we're really close to 3 million cases worldwide. We're at 2.9 now. So I kind of am guessing by Tuesday at the latest. It's Sunday today. By Tuesday at the latest, we're going to hit 3 million cases. The U.S. is a little over 54,000 deaths, and is nearing, but slower than I would expected, nearing a million cases. We're at 941,000, evidently. Yeah. Certain places are, like I said the other day, beginning to lift quarantines. And, that kind of it scares me because honestly, if you look historically at other pandemics like the Spanish flu and stuff, it wasn't the first wave that was the most deadly. It was the second and third, like it was when we thought we were done and everyone left their houses and haha, JK, that's when, millions of more people died. So, you know, we're hoping that doesn't happen, obviously. We're hoping, I don't know, that we can stop it in its tracks, but that seems very far off. Vaccines aren't going to be ready for months at minimum. Maybe we'll all get herd immunity first, but that would require a lot of human sacrifice, which, obviously we don't want to do. But yeah, so the states that are starting to lift their restrictions scare me. Governor Wolf, the governor of Pennsylvania, has put guidelines into effect for places to start lifting quarantine requirements. And it's basically like there has to be your daily new reported cases have to be under a certain percentage per like 100,000 people in your population or whatever over a course of like 14 days. So it's basically like you have to get a minimum safety level. And presumably if you're at a minimum safety level, then and you maintain it for like 2 weeks, after that, then you can like lessen the restrictions a little more and it's supposed to like ease you back into it. The More Than the Curve page posted Montgomery County's numbers, and we are far from those numbers. Far from those numbers. We're not there yet. So we'll see. China says that all of the coronavirus patients in Wuhan, which is where this all started, have been released. I'm not 100% sure if I completely trust that because of what I was saying the other day with the you can't trust the numbers on this one, just because we don't know. We don't know all the numbers. We don't know if people who had, a heart attack, it was related to coronavirus, if they count as a death in coronavirus or whatever. The numbers on this one I don't think historically are ever going to be accurate. So when someone says all of the virus patients, I'm like, really? Really? So I just don't fully trust it. Not that I don't think they're like giving fake information. I think probably according to their records that's accurate. What I'm saying is I don't trust that records have been taken accurately. And not on them, that's on everyone, just because I don't think we know enough to fully be able to do that. So yeah, we'll see about that. University of Pittsburgh had their graduation today and yesterday, and it was a virtual graduation. And it's like, I have friends who graduated this year, like on Facebook and stuff, and seeing them was watching their videos of them in their living rooms with their parents with their graduation on the TV was like trippy to say the least. Actually, my brother is set to graduate from Miami in a couple weeks. So yeah, and he's actually not home. He is still in Miami. I kind of don't 100% remember what the logic there was, but whatever. It was decided that it was safer for him to stay in Florida than like fly up here, at least at the time. So he will be graduating virtually. Of course, we'll all watch, we'll all jump in, but yeah, it's a little sad that it's something that you've worked all this time for and you're slightly being cheated of. Certain schools, I know Pitt has actually said that, maybe over the summer, if it becomes safe to do so, they'll host like graduation again in case you want to walk across the stage or things like that. I feel like some schools will do that, some schools won't. We'll kind of just see what happens, see what the vast majority do, and they'll probably go from there. But it's just like, it's sad. It's sad. In a similar vein, my younger cousin's bar mitzvah was supposed to be this upcoming Saturday. Obviously that's not happening, and he's actually postponed it for a year, so it will in fact be on Saturday in 52 weeks. So he was scheduled for May 2nd. He will now be May 1st of 2021, which is his actual birthday, so he's kind of excited about that. But it will be his 14th birthday, now his 13th birthday. And like, obviously people's health and safety comes first, but I can't imagine if after all the time and effort and money I put into my bat mitzvah, it was like, sorry, you gotta hang off. Although for me at that point, my bat mitzvah was a secular humanistic bat mitzvah, which meant that I didn't read from the Torah, at least how my shola did it. Instead of reading from the Torah, you explored an aspect of Judaism with your mentor for a year, became an expert on it, and then presented it to the community in the form of a half-hour to 45-minute speech. Which, several 13-year-olds, if you say yes, you have to talk to an entire auditorium full of people and make a speech for a half hour. People would be like, So I actually have friends who came to my bat mitzvah and went to traditional b'nai mitzvot, and they were like, yeah, your thing sounds way harder. All we got to do is, memorize the Torah a bit. I'm like, yeah, I know. I wish. Mainly because, like, whatever. But all that being said, the speech would have been written by now, so I guess I would have just, like, kind of coasted through the next year. But still, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into it, and it's very sad that it has to be pushed. So yeah, that's kind of all that's going on today. Very cold, very wet. It's not even that cold, it's just gray and wet and rainy, and you're just like, I imagine this is just like what England is like, just like constantly. I love England, I love the Brits, but how do you do this? My God. Especially yesterday, it was like 70 degrees and sunny, and today it's like 46 degrees and rainy. It's not fun. I don't like it. Um, but yeah, so that's about it. I'm gonna work on my schedule to hopefully help myself kind of kick in. I'm also going to add a workout to my schedule, which is not something I like to do. And I thought about doing one of those things where it's like, we do like 100 squats every day for 30 days or something, and something like that. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll come out of quarantine buff AF. Lol. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.